Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
What's up? Big Herc 916. This story right here, it caught my attention because a lot of people just assume that things work the way they are supposed to work in the legal justice system, but people get railroaded every day. And yeah, you know, somebody could be accused of a lot of things. It doesn't mean they're guilty. You still have a right to a trial by jury. You have a right to not incriminate yourself, to be secure in persons, the right to a speedy trial. And when those rights are violated, you are entitled to get relief from the judicial system, supposedly. Now, this guy right here, he spent a decade in jail without being convicted. Now his lawyer says his case should be dismissed. Maurice Jimerson has been behind bars for 10 years, but hasn't been convicted of a crime. Due to a series of bureaucratic holdups, Jimerson has been held in a Dougherty County, Georgia jail since he was charged with murder in 2013, a crime for which two of his co-defendants have already been acquitted. Making matters worse, Jimerson recently spent 8 months without any lawyer at all. Damn! That right there automatically is a constitutional violation. This guy should be on the streets. 10 years? Man, where's all these groups that help people who need representation or who are getting unjustly convicted? Well, and this guy's not even convicted, unjust just in general with the system. Where are they at? After local journalists uncovered Jimerson's case in April, an Atlanta criminal defense attorney stepped in to represent Jimerson pro bono, and he's motioned to dismiss the charges altogether. It's unclear why exactly Jimerson has languished in jail for so long. Gregory Edwards, the Dougherty County District Attorney, told Atlanta News First that some of the delay can be attributed to a 2021 courthouse flood, the COVID-19 pandemic, and previous judge's decision to try Jimerson and his co-defendants separately for the 2013 double murder charge. Two of Jimerson's co-defendants were tried and acquitted in 2017. And he's still up in there. That shit is crazy. Things got even worse for Jimerson in the summer of 2022 when his public defender, Benjamin Harrell, filed several requests to be released from Jimerson's case, noting that he needed to travel frequently to obtain medical care for his infant daughter. However, the court employees seemingly lost Harrell's request and didn't actually grant his release from the case until April 12th of this year, apparently after local journalists questioned one judge on why she hadn't approved Harrell's request. While Jimerson was effectively without a lawyer during this period, the Georgia Public Defender Council has insisted that though Harrell was not providing Jimerson with any legal help, Jimerson was in fact being properly represented. I'm telling you, man, pay pretenders, man. Them dudes, the public pretender's office, that's what they're about, public pretending. You got to get in them legal books yourself, man. And even then, I mean, this guy, 10 years, a decade, I mean, God, man, that's crazy. Could you imagine? This guy hasn't been convicted. And you see how they did the Tates? No conviction, just held him. That's a violation of your sovereignty, man. Quote, a court error, if one took place, does not alleviate Mr. Harrell's responsibility or representation, end quote. Thomas O'Connor, the Public Defender's Council Communications Director, said, quote, in law and in fact, Mr. Harrell was Mr. Jimerson's attorney until April 12th. Assertions to the contrary are deliberately misleading, end quote. Things could be looking up for Jimerson. Last month, Atlanta defense attorney Andrew Fleischman began representing Jimerson pro bono, even filed a motion to have Jimerson's case dismissed. Justifying his decision to file the motion, Fleischman cited the 1972 case, Barker versus Wingo, in which the Supreme Court ruled that if someone is held in custody too long before trial, the case can be dismissed. Fleischman tells Reason that quote, it made sense to file the motion, end quote, given that Jimerson has been locked up for 10 years, quote, and has as far as I know, end quote, he says that, quote, the longest anybody's been held in custody before a trial outside of Guantanamo Bay, end quote. Wow. That's crazy, man. Quote, I have this very strong conviction that people should have a trial before they are punished, and it seems like that is like such a minority view, end quote, as Fletcherman. In fact, the Sixth Amendment guarantees the right to a speedy trial and the right to an attorney, both of which Jimerson has been denied. Quote, we should be trying people in a reasonable amount of time, and we should put a reasonable amount of resources toward making that happen. And if we have a system where people have to wait in jail for 2 or 3 years before they have trial, that's not due process. Violation of due process, man, end quote. Oh, man. Quote, you talk about getting hostages out of other countries like North Korea or Iran, end quote, says Fletcherman. Quote, the average time is 6 years. We talk about countries having failed puppet justice systems with no expectation of due process, and yet we have Americans in this country waiting 10 years for an opportunity to force the state to prove its case, and that to me is outrageous, end quote. Yeah, man, this guy got a major lawsuit, man. Break the bank, bro. Break the bank. These people owe you 10 years? No conviction? See, now they're going to scramble because this is getting a lot of publicity to try to make up something and try to get them to take a plea deal. But 10 years, man, no plea deal. That's it. The case, they don't have a case. His 2 co-defendants are already out? Come on, man. That's crazy, man. In America. Telling you, man, do your homework, man. Big Herc 916.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.
Stop walking around with a crusty butt, smelly ball sack, and a funky hoo-ha. Big Herc said, wash that ass. Pick you up a t-shirt at FreshOutSeries.com.